It doesn't matter if it's the local government, state, or even on a national scale. When it comes down to our people, it's always the same answer. We don't have the money. We can't do it. There's no money. There's no money. But then when it comes down to other people, they can always find money, not just a small amount of money, large amounts of money can always be found. Brandon Johnson, the mayor, is giving the migrants in Chicago $70 million. And yes, the residents are mad as hell, and I don't blame them. We have seen this played out all over the country when it comes down to the migrants. And then when it's our people, it's never any money. Nothing can ever get done. They can't get the bills through. They can't give you no money. They just can't. I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and I'll be right back with the rest of my commentary.
The citizens of Chicago have a lot to say after the city council approved an extra $70 million to care for illegal immigrants. The mayor's office says nearly 40,000 of them have arrived in that sanctuary city since August of 2022. Try millions in Texas. Try that out. Well, they are a sanctuary city, Chicago, so what do they expect? They put out the shingle. And tax-paying Chicagoans showed up in force ahead of the city council vote.
The city doesn't feel the same anymore.
Y'all mismanaging this, failing actually.
We need that money in my neighborhood.
$70 million. Y'all won't even put $1 million in one neighborhood.
Vote for the money for these immigrants today, and we coming for them seats.
Yeah. Ooh, they're coming for somebody else's seat, too. Democratic Mayor Brandon Johnson's. Organizers of the recall movement need some 56,000 signatures to get the recall option on the ballot later this year. We'll be watching. Fox News political analyst and Chicago native Jono Caldwell. Jono, I did notice some anger in the room, but I also noticed some people with a plan.
Absolutely. And they are doing the right thing by saying we're coming directly for your seats, including you, Mayor Brandon Johnson, as Mayor Brandon Johnson's message, I believe, to Chicagoans has been quite clear. Get on the back of the bus. Now, that's everybody, but especially those black voters who are the reason he's mayor today. Get on the back of the bus. And these voters in Chicago, and I speak to a lot of them pretty regularly, pretty weekly, they're serious about voting for Trump. They're serious about handing the election in Illinois to Donald Trump, as you only need 20% of Cook County, which is within Chicago. That's Cook County, the county that encompasses the suburbs as well. He can win Illinois. Now, the problem is for many of the Chicagoans there, they've been destitute for many, many years with services from the city. Since I was a kid, 14 years old, working in politics, people have been asking for help and resources, and they say they didn't have any until now.
Well, they had the resources. They just weren't spending them on you, the citizens. Okay, so you mentioned Trump, and you mentioned blacks in particular taking a look at maybe voting in their own interests. You know, I had lifelong Chicagoan Kata Tress on the Focus back in February. She got a bigger conversation around the nation started about her frustrations in Chicago. Let's revisit.
Turn Chicago red. We are so angry with Pritzker and with President Biden and with our mayor that we have decided that we're going to vote Republican this time around. Wow. That's just how angry we are. We are so angry that we are willing and going to turn our backs on the Democratic Party.
Every time when it comes down to our people, things can never get done. Oh, they don't have the money. They can't do this for us and they can't do that. But when it comes down to anyone else, they got all the resources. They're not struggling to get the resources. They already got it. And see, another reason why they're very upset is because these illegals, especially the ones from Venezuela, they have been committing all kinds of crime up there in Chicago. And we know they're doing it in other locations because I've done New York. And it seems like the more crimes they commit, the more money they want to give them. They get rewarded for committing crimes. So from January to March, there were more than 1,000 arrests of illegal Venezuelans in Chicago. The first 3 months of the year, over 1,000 arrests. 609 were for driving and traffic offenses. 9 were violent felonies. 75 were violent misdemeanors. And 313 were other offenses listed as non-violent, with 9 others listed as unknown or not listed. And this is in Chicago. The data is limited to adult arrest by Chicago police, but it does not, these numbers don't include juveniles. So you don't know how many juvenile migrants, illegals, have committed crimes because they're not documenting juveniles, just adults. So the arrest data also does not say when those Venezuelan nationals arrive or their immigration status. Okay, what a pity. So I don't blame these folks for being upset. So the Chicago City Council recently voted 30-18 to approve a request made by Mayor Brandon Johnson for an additional $70 million in order to help deal with the ongoing migrant crisis. That money is on top of the $150 million assigned to migrant care in the budget already. So, according to Brandon Johnson's office, they're whining about taking care of 2,000 migrants coming a week. Nearly 40,000 have arrived since August of 2022. And Brandon Johnson's office said that the funding request was to ensure that the city is prepared should there be any sudden increases in new arrivals sent from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. So they said they need to have this money for the necessities, including food, shelter, medical care, education, jabs, and case management, and also resettlement support. So you mean to tell me your Black residents don't have necessities that they could use help with, like food, shelter, medical care, educate, they could use that stuff too. And they're taxpayers. So they're whining about the multiple buses that are shipped to sanctuary cities you know, and they're not getting much help from the federal government with this situation, so they're struggling, and it's funny. They keep saying they're not getting any help, but they sure got money for the migrants, don't they? Mm, mm, mm. Man, it'll be interesting when election time come to see how much of the city will vote red. It'll be interesting, you know? And I think many of these Republicans are under the impression that we like them. We don't really like y'all. It's just that people are sick of Joe Biden. They're talking about dealing with Trump, not the party. Not the party. Ain't feeling you like that. So y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.